In today's video, I'll be playing with the number one player in Just Build, IzzyBuildz. I'll be asking her a few questions and we'll see her experience as a Just Build player. Joy! Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I'll be asking you 10 questions, alright? And just to let you know, you don't have to answer these questions, but try to give them an answer, alright?
Alright.
Alright, Izzy, our first question is, when did your journey begin as the number one player, and why?
I think it was around last year in February. One day, I was sitting in my bed. It was like midnight, and I had a thought. I was wondering to myself, if I did like 20 wins a day, I could reach the top of the leaderboard. And from that thought, I actually did start doing that. Now, of course, the goals fluctuated from like 5 to 100 at different points in time, but I was mainly focused around just that one goal
To
every day to at least get some amount of win,
20
usually over 10.
So 20 per day, am I right?
Yeah,
I see.
that's how it started.
Why did you start this journey?
I started it mainly because I just kind of realized that if I put my mind to it, I could do this really cool thing that I'd always been fantasizing about. Because when I first looked at it, I was like, I could never do that. Like, that was never an option. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, maybe it is an option.
Alright, our next question is, how was the journey of becoming number one? And what were the obstacles on the way?
Main obstacles were, I tend to overachieve a lot of the time. So my goals would sometimes be like crazy, like 75 or 100, and they'd fluctuate so often that I'd end up missing them and then losing the will to keep going. But eventually I'd come back and keep going. So sometimes there were months that you wouldn't really see me, and then other months there were times that you would see me grinding very often. I'd burn out and not really keep a good schedule, even if I was trying my best.
Alright. Do I build the teddy bear or you're gonna build it?
I'm gonna build it on the bed, or at least try to.
Okay.
I'm not the best at this theme.
I'm not good at this team either. Let me help.
I
Alright.
think I'm gonna make a girl holding a teddy bear.
We only have a minute left, so keep that in mind.
Oh wait.
2 minutes.
Ooh.
2 minutes.
I just realized this is not double build time. Alright.
Okay, our next question. The third one is, when you reached the number one spot, how did you feel?
It felt kind of like it wasn't real for a little while. Like, of course I was really happy, but then also I kind of felt like sad that it was like, oh, I'm number one now. What else is there to really do? Like, it was kind of a mix between a good and bad feeling, but it was mostly good.
Just finish this up real quick. Okay, there we go. Alright, for the next question, question number 4, we have, how long do you plan on being number one?
If someone else were to come and try to grind to my spot, I would probably keep grinding. Like, I don't want to lose my number one spot. But eventually, if I do lose interest and someone else is grinding, I will probably stop. But for probably the far future, I don't really see myself stopping because I do enjoy this game a lot.
I see. So how many years do you estimate in your opinion?
I would say probably, if someone is intentionally grinding to beat me, I'd say maybe about like 3 or 4 years. But if no one ever tries to beat me, it'll stay there for I don't know how long. I can't tell.
This one is for the competitors. What is your strategy of reaching the number one spot?
As I talked about like a lot in the start, setting daily goals. It can be anything as small as like 3 wins to 100. Whatever you do, just set a goal. It doesn't matter what it is.
Alright, number 6. What is the best building style to win with?
Ooh. So, to be honest, I would say that the terrain, the giant big builds, they definitely are a good style and a fun way to win. But because Just Build is a game with so many younger children, I'd say that I won probably the most with the small, colorful, and blocky style. I'd say that the bigger styles are a lot cooler to me personally, but for winning in Just Build specifically, the small detailed and colorful has been the way I know to win most, even though the other styles are really cool.
So that's why you've been mostly using terraforming, right?
Yeah, I do terraforming a lot and it's really fun, but I tend to see a lot of times that they don't always understand the build, even if I try to make it like that. But I've mainly found that colors are always bright colors. No matter what style you do, will always usually make it to the top.
Cool.
It's not really about style, it's more about what you do with the palettes.
So what do you think is the best palettes to use? Like bright colors, dark colors?
If you're doing terrain, do dark, but light, like if you're using sand or grass ever, make them very light in your palette to kind of contrast the dark colors. But if you're just doing a normal, like small, like detailed build, go for as much color as you can. I'm going to build a ninja with a sword.
I guess I'll try to build the bamboo shoots, like the one that you did with blues, so... Or at least, I don't know, with blues or fancy, I don't remember who it was, so I'll
Me
try.
neither.
The next question is number 7, which says, if there was one thing you should avoid in Just Build, what would it be?
You should really avoid, one thing I notice a lot from builders who are just starting out, is that they try very hard to copy, like doing the exact same style. While I do like the enthusiasm about trying to learn the style and such, I feel like if you should definitely play with other good players for reference. But if you find yourself starting to slip into a pattern where your builds look almost the exact same, that's not very good. You want to have some variety. That's why I usually say if you do have a build friend, try to make lots, because you're going to end up becoming a builder who can only do 1 or 2 styles. And to really push yourself in this kind of game, you want to be able to do multiple styles. You want to be able to build every theme, even if you don't like the theme, just in case. You want to learn every way that you can possibly build it. So yes, it is good to use other builders for reference, but you should not try to base your entire style around just one. Try to branch out.
Number 8. So question number 8, we have, what are the things you hate most about Just Build in its current state?
I'd say the reporting system, but I've come to realize that it's very hard to make a good reporting system for this kind of game. I would probably say that I feel kind of sad that the community is so small due to the amount of inappropriate builds. I wish that there were more people that I could show and teach and help make new builds.
Actually, the Just Build used to be the most played before Bed Wars.
I
Yes?
would say yes. It was definitely a big player base, but I feel like there weren't a lot of like dedicated people. It was more like random people that weren't. I couldn't really talk to.
Yeah.
They didn't have any connections. It was mostly young people. Well, and you'll notice in the other games, there's a lot of older people. There's a lot of people who like start making groups and all these things. Just Build is kind of like that one game that's just filled with a lot of really random people. You can't really find like a whole group that would mainly only play that game.
Fair enough. I just made up this question, so what is your least favorite block in this game? Or at least block palette?
That's a hard question. Let me see. Iron door.
Why the iron door?
I don't think I've ever had a build specifically where I needed to use an iron door. Even with like all these like random blocks, like the terracotta, the glazed terracotta, I feel like I would find a use for them in some way. But with the doors, you see, I don't make houses in this game very often. And so I don't find much of a use for iron doors whenever I tend to build.
How about your most used block, like a favorite block, or the most used block in terms of category if you can't choose any single block?
Leaves. Leaves by far. Every single build. Even though I use like a lot of like palette colors, like sand and grass, in every palette, there's leaves.
Our 9th question is, if you could change one existing feature, or if you can replace one feature that's already existing in the game, what feature would it be?
I would add more themes. I would say adding another one with more time, but I do feel like that we need more themes more than we need a longer time to game in priority.
But how about a feature that's already existing that you can replace, like that's something that already exists?
I would make the floor breakable.
Uh-huh.
The reasoning is because it's easier to make big terrain builds because you can dig into the floor only by like 1 or 2 blocks. Even though it would only be that much, I feel like it could help out a lot of builds and help out newer players, like if they're trying to make a river and like but there's a lot of other smaller details that you're able to add if you could break the floor without having to manually terrain around it.
You have anything else to say about it?
Not really.
I guess before we go to our last final question, we have a few questions from our builders. So our first question is from Fancy Biggie. He asks, how has your building style changed over time?
Okay, so when I first started out, it was like everyone else's. It was like something small and usually unfinished. But eventually I actually grew into a style, which is like that blocky, cartoony style, which I only recently stopped doing that. Maybe about like 7 months ago, I finally branched off that singular style. I had a terrain phase. I hated making terrain. I just thought I wasn't fast enough. I couldn't do it. And then I started making it. I was like, oh, I really like this. And currently now, my biggest one is making people. Those like realistic small people instead of the blocky people. And in between all these phases, I have had smaller phases, but those are the 3 main ones I would say I've had.
This question is from Kristen. He says, why are you so bad at the game? Pointing and laughing emoji.
A good question. I'm still practicing.
This one is from Envu. There are 2 questions, but already one of them you've answered, but I'm going to repeat it for the viewers. What is your favorite theme or themes, including the seasonal ones?
Oh, that's tough. These fluctuate a lot depending on what build phase I'm in. But currently, it's gonna be between horse racing, ninja, and food.
How about seasonal ones? If you don't have any, then it's fine.
Seasonal ones. Probably pine tree. I remember that one. I love building pine trees.
Pine trees, when was that one?
It was during the Christmas one.
The second question is, what is something you would like to see added in the future update?
I'll say fixing the actual like leveling, and then with that coming more levels. Because I hear a lot of people, whenever the question of more levels is brought up, they're always like, no, it's too hard to grind. But I feel like if they were to ever add more levels, they would probably change the voting system and the XP system.
How specifically, what do you think, in your opinion, how do you think should they fix it?
I feel like the cap would change to 40. And they'd probably add like you know how they usually have like cosmetics now for like and backblings? I would say to probably add a hat or cosmetic when you do reach level 40. And if a lot of people play and it goes well, they could add more levels. But that's just the start.
How about in terms of the leveling system, like gaining XP? Is there anything you want to change about it?
I would say every time, currently when someone votes love, it only gives a 2 or a 2.5. I forgot which one it is.
Love currently gives 2.5, I believe.
2.5. Okay. I would say to change that by make all the votes double and make the winning triple.
I see. Those are all the questions from professional builders in Just Build. And yeah, so let's go to our final question, which is, if you would like to give one advice in Just Build, what would it be?
I would say if you're starting out, try to just go for small and detailed builds. If you are good at other things, do those too. But if you're a brand new, fresh start, try to go for small and detailed. And you can work your way up when you get faster. Newer builders try to build like these really giant things. They end up not finishing them, or they turn out like kind of wonky. So I'd say to watch other people and try to just start out doing small builds, because I find that's usually the way that a lot of people that I've helped learn how to build progress really fast.
There we go. First place. Not gonna lie, your ice cream looks really good.
Thanks.
And that's a wrap, Izzy. So, is there anything else you want to say to the viewers before we go?
I just want to say thanks for all the support and subscribe to No Cool.
Hey.
See ya.
Alright, it's been fun. Thanks for having me around, Izzy. Alright, see ya. So yeah, that's IzzyBuildz. Anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This really took a while in planning, so if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. And if you enjoy my content, why not subscribe? It'll be greatly appreciated. Also, what do you want to see in Just Build? Let me know down in the comments. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye!